I'm Chuck Howard. I'm president of Metal Roof Consultants. I'm a professional engineer and own MRC. We are a company that's a specialty company that specializes in metal retrofit roofing. We've done a previous video on metal retrofit framing, which is on YouTube, and you'll see across the bottom of the screen the connection as to how you get to that. That tells you how you convert a flat roof into a pitched roof. We've already done the conversion here at this particular job, and now I'm going to talk about today the panel that goes on top of that framing. This panel is a 16-inch wide panel. It's got a 2-inch high rib. There's a female rib here. There's a male rib here. In the female rib, you see that there's factory applied sealant right in here, that when it does connect with the male rib and it all gets crimped together, then it will have a continuous waterproofing hydrostatic connection. We have a clip that we put on this. This panel is going to want to expand and contract. It's a steel panel. It's going to want to expand and contract as much as an inch in a 100-degree temperature differential on a 100-foot long panel, as much as that. And so we have to be able to do that so it doesn't pull itself apart. We have to be able to accommodate that so it doesn't pull itself apart. This is the clip that we use that does that. It has a couple components. One component is the base clip that attaches to the structural member. This does not move. You'll see it as we go and install this. I'll show you that in a minute, how we install these. There's 2 screws that go in here. They go directly under the purlin or support system that's coming this way. They fasten into that. And when that happens, it gets lower than this tab right here. That tab stops it so it's centered completely before we go to do the installation. Then as soon as that happens, then this is attached to the male rib of the panel. It can't move. And this then can move, expand, and contract as the panel wants to expand and contract. This clip will move with it. This will stay the same. Now the other thing on this is, since we put that in, remember the factory applied sealant in the female rib, this actually has a sealant that's attached, that's a factory, but while they make the clip, this is installed, and this spans the gap between where this sealant will go over top of it, and then this covers the sealant underneath of it. We've had in the past, as they were developing these years ago, we had problems with these leaking in some cases. And so now this is a belt and suspenders that makes this a premium clip to use. Now this clip goes onto this panel, and you can see this is when the female panel comes along, that's where the rib, the bead of caulk from this one will go across. And as I explained, there's another bead of caulk underneath here to keep out any imperfections of the that would allow water to infiltrate. Now this is the way that it stays on the panel. The purlin itself is like here where my hand is, and when it fastens down, then that fixes the clip so the wind won't blow it off. We designed these where we put these clips in the framing in a pattern such that it will handle the ASCE7, the current load for the ASCE7. And also then the panel itself has to be tested for an ASTM 1592. So then when we know what the panel will handle with these spacings, then we can determine whether that will meet the current code or not. If it doesn't, then we have to put these clips closer together. So that's the panel, that's the clip. We're now going to go up on the roof, and we're going to show you a curb. We're going to show you some high side flashings, some valley flashings, and an actual installation of the panel. So come with me and we'll get up on the roof. We are at where the panel is going to get installed. This happens to be a panel that's actually being installed where we have a hip on the high side and a valley on the low side, and I'll show you a couple of things on that. But this panel is going to go down. This is the panel we talked about on the ground. You see, this is the male leading rib of the panel that's come out here. This is the clip that we explained was a sliding clip. It's now down below that tab, so this thing can expand and contract all that it wants. We have a separator from the top of our structure, which is a purlin. We have a separator here that goes on there to keep the panel from rattling and contacting the purlin. It's got 2 screws in here. This is ready to go to be able to handle the panel. It holds uplift so it's not going to come up, and it also allows it to expand and contract. Also, before we put the panel down, I'll show you we have a backer plate here for the valley, and we have a cover plate here, flashing, that's going to be the same color, out of the same flat stock as the panel. And this does not move. The valley does not move. Everything fixes at this point that makes this a hydrostatic roof. Everything fixes at this point and slopes to the ridge, where the expansion and contraction can take care of it at the ridge cap. And we may show a couple of those in the distance where we have some of the ridge on. This is the tape caulk that goes between the panel and the flashing. So when it all gets done, the fasteners are 2 to 3 inches on center, no more than 3 inches. And when it gets all done, you have a hydrostatic condition here that can handle all the water that you want to. I'm going to let these gentlemen lay this panel. You can see how it goes in. This panel actually has a leg on it, a little lip on it, where they have to kick it in, twist it back, and fit it over. It helps with the uplift. We get better uplift with that. And also, when we get done, we're going to crimp the ribs. We'll crimp this rib and seal it together like the top of a Coke can. So it's going to be hydrostatic. The whole thing is going to be hydrostatic when we get done. All right, I'll let these guys do their job. See, he's bringing it down. He's got it to the stop at the end where he wants it to be. Put it down. Clamp it at that point. I'm going to clamp it at the top. And now they're going to put clips. With the clips that we showed. There's going to be a clip that's going to go at all these locations. While they're getting the clips, let's go up here and look at this. Connection. This is where we have, well, they have a clips, okay. You see the clips that they're putting in there? And then they're going to use number 12 by 14 fasteners into the top of the purlin. It's 2 fasteners per clip. And this is the system for this panel that has been tested for ASTM 1519, which gives us the uplift capacity that panel will handle. This happens to be a 5-foot spacing of the purlin, and we can make those smaller. We never go more than 5 feet. We can make those smaller in the edge conditions depending on what the IBC building code and ASCE 7 2016 now has to say about what kind of loads we're going to have in here. So he's just finishing up now this panel, and this panel is done. Now the only thing that needs to be done now is the seaming on this. Oh, he's going to put the screws in here. I forgot. So now he's going to put the screws I was talking about. You can see on the bottom side that the screws have been installed. He's going to install, and he installs into this backer plate. Installs through the flashing, through the caulking, into the valley backer. You're going to snap a line so it gets a nice straight line on the screw. So it looks good. These fasteners are not visible from the ground. They have a solid zinc head on them and a urethane washer underneath of it. The head of the fastener has the urethane head here, and it has a concave washer that's attached to the head of the screw, that when they bottom it out, it pulls up in there and it bottoms out without stripping the washer out. So this screw will last as long as the roof panel will last. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. You can go to lunch now if you'd like to.
Thank you.
Let me show you a couple of things here at the ridge. You can see the sealant that, I always get that on me. The sealant that's coming out there, that's a tube urethane sealant that is installed on the vertical leg of the male panel before the female panel is put down, and then it squeezes. It'll squeeze out, so it'll continually close the end of that panel for when we put our Z closure. I don't have any Z closure. Yeah, I do. Down here. Down here. That's what it needs to look like on the end. And now we're at a spot where this is two hips coming together. And what we have is we have this Z closure, which is a 2 by 2 1/4 by 2 inch 18 gauge or 16 gauge member, can be either one, and it's put in there at the end of the panels, and it's fastened the same way that we fastened the valley we just explained to you. Then we put a closure strip on there, a painted closure strip. See, this is where it stops on this side. Then a closure strip on there, so you don't see the silver and galvalume material from the ground. It's not, looks like a stripe up here. Then we put tape cloth on the top of that, and that takes care of our, this is the same as our ridge, and our hips are the same. In this particular case, we're venting the whole cavity. We're going to vent the whole cavity to keep it dry, and we change the air 3 to 5 times an hour in here, and we do that by a perforated vent strip at the top, and that vent strip allows the air to come through, and then at the eave we have vented to soften, and so we're continually moving air through the entire cavity to keep it dry. And then of course on top of it, we put the hip cover, in this case, which is exactly the same as the ridge cover. So you see, this is how we do it, hips and ridges and the valleys. So that said, let's go over here to the curb, and I'll show you what happens with the curb. Project is approximately 180,000 square feet. It'll take a little over a year to do it. A little dirty. It'll all clean up. It's a little dirty from construction traffic on it. This shows our 060 aluminum curb. It's got a powder coated paint on it that matches very closely the Kynar paint of the panel. It's got a cricket on the high side that diverts the water around. You want to have at least 3 to 4 inches of clearance on the side of the curb between that and the next full rib. And so we cut the ribs. You can see here, we cut the outside rib of that panel, of the flat on these curbs. We bend it up to where it integrates with the male rib here and the female rib over there, and then the curb. Then we put an outside closure on this one that closes this off. Use stainless steel bolts to fasten it, and an inside closure in that cavity on that side, back in here. And we use the same thing. We use stainless steel bolts to fasten that together. On the low side, where we have a cut rib into the panel that's cut, we use a closure on that. There's a form closure that we use on that. It's filled with caulk, and it closes the whole thing off. This comes from a lot of years of doing this and knowing where they're going to leak, and coming up with a system that is standard and can be used any place. These, of course, show the units that have been raised. If you look across there, this is the kitchen for this school, and there's a lot of units. Just because you have units on the roof doesn't mean that you can't do a retrofit roof. And so, anyway, that's what we got. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity for you to see what a metal retrofit roof looks like on top of the framing. Again, go look at our video for the framing part of it. This tops it off, so you know it can be done. It can be done in a lot of instances, and we'd be more than glad to assist anybody that would be interested in doing this. Thank you very much.